Hey guys, it's Suda here and welcome back to another video. Thanks for that, Yuki. So I've made a video before where I discussed some of the animals that I would never want to own as pets. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I've had a few suggestions to make a video of animals that I do want to own as pets in the future. Now just be aware that I'm probably not going to be getting any of these animals anytime soon. I don't plan on getting any big pets like at all until I move into my own house. Hopefully should be in like another year or like 2 years. It just depends on life situations. But yeah, I definitely don't have this space for any more animals at the moment. So please don't ask me to buy certain animals because it's just kind of weird. A lot of people ask me to buy certain animals to make videos on them, which I find very strange. Like, just watch someone else make videos on them. I'm not going to buy an animal just to make videos. Like, that's very weird. Anyways, so yeah, these are animals that I want to own in the future, hopefully. Let's start with the number one animal that I really want to own in the future, and will probably be the first animal out of this list that I will own once I have my own house, and that will be rats. I have wanted rats for such a long time. I absolutely love rats. I watch a lot of rat YouTubers. I'm in like rat Facebook groups, so I can just see other people's rats instead of having some of my own. Yeah, I just don't have the space for rats at the moment, and my family don't really like rats, so... But I do have mice, even though mice are very different to rats, but that's kind of like my exception. I have mice instead of having rats. I've never owned rats before. I've never even like had a friend that owned rats. I've only like touched rats like once at a pet store where they let me like hold them and stuff, and oh my god, I literally wanted to cry because I was so happy. One thing though that kind of makes me like not want to own rats is the fact that they do only live for about 2 to 3 years, and they also can get health issues and like tumors and stuff very easily. So that's something I'm kind of like not sure about, because I'm not sure like if I would be able to handle that. I mean, like mice are quite similar too, and mice can live for about 1 to 2 years. And now my female mice are about a year old, which like makes me really nervous and like worried. But despite them not living for a very long time, I still want to give them like the best life as possible. So we'll see. Sometime the day will come when I get rats, hopefully. The next thing is chickens or ducks, or both. So I really love chickens. I actually have pretty much had chickens my whole life until our last chickens passed away about like 3, almost 4 years ago, and since then we just stopped getting them, and I loved having them. We would get rescue chickens that were ex-battery hens, so they originally came from like factories where they were like in very small cages for their whole life. We would get them and they would just have like no feathers, and they would be quite unwell, and then you got to watch them like come to life again, and it was really cool. Unfortunately, they usually didn't live very long because they were already quite old and had a lot of issues from living in such horrible conditions before, but it was still like a really nice experience and something that I would definitely love to do again. Rescue some ex-battery hens. Yeah, I just think chickens are really cool. Obviously this would also depend on the amount of space that I would have in like my future house. Same with ducks. When I was very little, we had some rescue ducklings that we took care of, and then we gave them to a bird sanctuary. And actually I was on YouTube while we had those ducklings, and I have some videos on my channel still of those ducklings, and that was really cool. They were just so cute, and they just became really attached to us, and didn't keep them for that long because we did give them to the bird sanctuary. But I would definitely love to do that again in the future and to keep them for their whole life. My boyfriend's also grown up with chickens as well that he raised when he was a kid. They're really cute. I love going to visit them, and they will like sit on your shoulder and stuff, and they'll sit on your arm, and one time one of them shat all over me. But it was really funny. So yeah, he also really wants to own chickens in the future. The next thing is a lorikeet or a conure. So obviously I have the cockatiels, and in the future I would definitely love to have a hand-raised lorikeet or a conure. I'm kind of more wanting a lorikeet, specifically a rainbow lorikeet, because I just think they're so beautiful. And my boyfriend actually was kind of planning to get a rainbow lorikeet instead of a cockatiel at first, but it's very hard to kind of come across them here. There is like one person I know who does hand-raised rainbow lorikeets, who's the same person we got our cockatiels from. But yeah, they do have different requirements to cockatiels, and they can't like live in the same cage or anything like that. It would definitely be something that I would love to have in the future. With conures, they're a lot harder to come across here. I've never seen a conure in real life before. They're very expensive, and I honestly don't even know where you would get one from where I live, because they're just but just very hard to come across. Also, an Indian ringneck parrot is kind of like another maybe I would like to own. They're just so funny. I actually used to have a friend that had an Indian ringneck parrot and he was so cool. So that's also another maybe, but again, depends on life, you know. But I would definitely like to have another bird species apart from cockatiels and budgies in the future. The next thing would be an albino bell frog. So I do have bell frogs, green and golden bell frogs and southern bell frog. In case you don't know, these are species of frogs that are native to Australia, but they were introduced to New Zealand. So we only have about 4 frog species in New Zealand, but 3 of them are native to Australia. One of them that is endangered is native to New Zealand. So we don't have a lot of frog species that we can get here. Obviously I would love to have some like really cool frog species like a red-eyed tree frog or poison dart frog. That would be amazing. Even like an African bullfrog. I would love one of those, but that would just never happen because they are illegal in my country. But I would definitely love to have a albino bell frog with my other frogs because they just look amazing. They have yellow skin and red eyes and they're just so beautiful. They're definitely very hard to come across here and they go for a lot of money, and usually when they do like turn up online, they'll get sold very fast. So they're very rare, but I do know people on the New Zealand frog group that I'm in that do have some. That would be amazing, but probably something that would be very hard to come across and get before anyone else. Oh, another thing that I wish I could have but I'll never be able to have is African dwarf frogs, or African clawed frogs I think is another name. These are also illegal in New Zealand, so I'll probably never have them, but they're a fully aquatic frog species and I just think they're so cute and so fun. We don't have any fully aquatic frog species here, so I just think that it would be really cool to have. Another pet I'd like to own would be a red-eared slider turtle. I love turtles. I would definitely love to own some in the future, but I would probably only own turtles if I had enough space to have like a big pond like in my backyard. I just feel like that ponds are much better environment for turtles, unless of course you have a massive like fish tank, but then they can get like all the UVB that they need from the sun. Obviously UVB is very important for turtles and their shells. There's actually like a fish store near me and they have this massive pond at the back of their store and they've just got tons of like red-eared slider turtles that live in there. And it's so cool. It's like massive. They just get to sunbathe and like chill all day, and I'm just like, wow, I want to have that one day. Obviously that would depend on how much land I would have in my future house, but that would definitely be a dream to have a beautiful like pond with some turtles and some like goldfish. That would also be really cool. The last thing I have on my list is a bearded dragon or a blue-tongued skink. I'd probably only like to get one or the other. Kind of leaning more towards a blue-tongued skink, but the thing with those 2 animals, mostly bearded dragons, is that they're very expensive in my country and very hard to come across, especially bearded dragon. They can cost like $500 to $700 for one just like normal morph bearded dragon here, just because they're just really hard to come by. They're not sold in pet stores where I live anyway. They are sold in pet stores in some other parts of the country, but not in my area. You just have to like find a breeder, and I don't think there's any breeders in the South Island of New Zealand, which is where I live. I know that there are some breeders in the North Island, but none in the South, so you would have to get them like flown to here anyway, and like, you know, that's risky. So probably not, because it's just a lot of money, a lot of effort to find one, and also they're actually banning the breeding of bearded dragons soon in New Zealand. I can't remember what year it was. I think it's in like a year or 2. They're banning the breeding of bearded dragons in New Zealand, which really sucks. I think they're also banning the breeding of other animals as well, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, I just feel like we already don't get much animals here, and like they're already here, so why ban them? But from what I understand, they worry that bearded dragons will escape or be set free by people, and then they'll destroy like native plants and stuff like that. So, you know, I can understand that. At the same time, I feel like a bearded dragon wouldn't be able to live in our climate because it gets extremely cold here. But I don't know. I do understand at the end of the day that we do need to protect the animals and the nature that we have here, because a lot of it is endangered, and if we were to let all these animals run wild in New Zealand, we probably wouldn't have a lot of the animals and nature that we have here. Blue-tongued skinks though are a bit cheaper than bearded dragons. They go for about $300, which is still a lot of money for a blue-tongued skink, but that's just a normal price here. They definitely seem to be a lot easier to get because they do sell them at like one pet store near me, but I don't like that pet store at all, so I would never buy one from them. I would rather get it from a good breeder, but that's an option. And honestly, I like blue tongue skinks a bit more. I just think that they look so funny and cool, and I love their blue tongues. They're so cute. I would just love to have one. And I got to pet blue tongue skink once, and I went to like an animal expo. I got to pet one, and he just felt so cool, and he was so cute, and like I just want to cuddle with one. Well, anyways guys, those are some of the animals that I would love to own one day in the future, hopefully. Maybe my opinion will change later on, but that's what I can think of at the moment. Feel free to comment down below what are some animals that you would love to own yourself, or animals that you wouldn't like to own. And also make sure to check out my other video of pets that I wouldn't want to own. Thanks for watching guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!